y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode, we're going to review The Trade, a documentary from Nick Mondo, aka Matthew Burns. And for a little backstory, if you're not familiar with the name, Matthew Burns is his real name, Nick Mondo is his wrestling name. In the early days of CZW, Nick Mondo was really one of the pioneers of American deathmatch style wrestling, one of the real stars, a guy that headlined a lot of the early CZW and IWA Mid-South shows, an independent star. He kind of had a short run, about 4 years, but he was absolutely one of the most charismatic wrestlers I personally have ever seen. My two favorite wrestlers that have ever been in CZW are him and Trent Acid, and I think they're both criminally underrated. A lot of people look at them as just hardcore deathmatch guys, but I think they both had extreme talent, and they both were so gifted, and Matt has taken his talents and went a different avenue now. Now he's into filmmaking. And he decided to make a film about his journey. Now, I know a lot of people, and I've talked to people that have not wanted to watch this documentary. I've watched it 3 times, by the way. I've mentioned it to people that I know are professional wrestling fans. And I've had a lot of them push back saying, I don't want to watch it because of the deathmatch stuff. And yes, it's covered in there. But I don't even look at this as a deathmatch wrestling documentary or a wrestling documentary. This is more a documentary about the dichotomy between Matthew and Nick. And what makes Matthew tick, what made Matthew into Nick, how he got there, the struggle between the two, and everything going forward with that. I mean, it's a beautifully filmed movie. The story is fantastic. If this had nothing to do with wrestling, I still think it would be one of the best movies I've seen all year. If it was talking about, I don't know, Little League Baseball or stamp collecting. It's just a fascinating story about this man and his struggle with who he is, who he was, and who he wants to be. And it gives us his backstory as a child a bit and goes through that. And I don't want to give too much of the film away because I do highly recommend everybody go watch that. And I'll say my actual rating at the end. It talks about his time in CZW, in professional wrestling, his influence and impact, the struggle with how far is too far, how far is he going to push himself? When is it too much? When is it the bar raised too high? And then we go into the further struggles after he left wrestling and the impact he made and the impact it made on others who decided to join professional wrestling because of him. And one of the highlights of the film is his relationship with Rory Gulak, a.k.a. Rory Mondo, a.k.a. Little Mondo. And we see Rory go from a fan at CZW shows to becoming a wrestler, taking up the moniker of Little Mondo, emulating a lot of what Nick Mondo did, his hero, and how Nick feels about this and how Nick feels about others that have taken up his style. And we see several wrestlers in the movie talk about his influence on them and why he did what he did and what they do and how it influenced them. But all in all, it's a fantastic journey to watch, to see what's inside of not just a wrestler, but a deathmatch wrestler. See what makes him tick. Why did he do this? Why would you go through light tubes or panes of glass or take a 40-foot fall off a building onto concrete or take a weed whacker to the chest. I mean, there are some graphic scenes, and be warned, there are some deathmatch scenes, some real extreme violence. But I think it adds to the movie. Taking that out would be like taking the violent scenes out of Quentin Tarantino movie, or taking them out of Scarface or Goodfellas or The Godfather. They add to the story. They're part of the story. It's part of who Matthew is. It's part of who Nick is. And the struggle between Matthew and Nick. And it goes all the way through that. It's just so fascinating how open and honest he is, and how he feels about things, and how he feels about what he did, and who he is, and who he was, and who he's going to become. I highly recommend it. I don't want to go too long on this because I'll just start spilling out everything about the movie. You can go check it out. It's on Amazon Prime if you have Amazon Prime, or if you just want to rent it, you can also rent it there. Google Play has it on there. I know there's a physical copy coming out soon. And I believe Netflix and YouTube are in the future. I'm not 100% sure. Check out his Facebook page for the movie if you want more info on that, or his Twitter page. But definitely you can see it on Amazon Prime or Google Play right now if you want to. I highly recommend this for not just wrestling fans, anybody that wants to see a good documentary. I recommend watching this. It's probably not only one of the best wrestling documentaries I've ever seen, and I like documentaries, don't get me wrong, I love them. I find it fascinating. The real stories a lot of times are more interesting than the made-up movies. But this is so good and so well done. It's a great movie. I want to see more of what Matthew's going to do from here forward, what his next movie is going to be, what his next story is that he's going to tell. And he's just a fantastic person. His brain and how it works, and he's so creative. I highly, highly recommend this. Please go watch this. Do not write it off as just a movie about a deathmatch wrestler. Give it a shot. Watch it. I guarantee you will like it. And with that being said, I'm going to rate it. Now, most of my things I give a 1 to 5 scale. I think you could guess by the tone of what I've been saying this whole video. This is a 5. I mean, this is an excellent, excellent documentary. It's right up there with Beyond the Mat, Wrestling with Shadows, the Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. Please, please search this out and watch this. This is an independent wrestler independently making a movie about his story. And it's so good and so fascinating. I highly recommend it. Please go watch this. Check it out. I mean, I can't say that enough. Go watch this movie. It's highly recommended. Like I said, one of the best documentaries I've seen. One of the top wrestling documentaries of all time. Go check it out. But basically, that's all I got to say on this topic. My name is George Coles, and this has been a Heel Heat Review.